Hey guys, Ningen here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and today we finally have it. The final jewel in the crown for the original 10 mono stages. The war to be Super Battle Road King has been raging for almost 2 weeks now, maybe? It's definitely been at least a full week. I don't know. I've lost track of time. Probably because a lot of that time has been spent doing this stage over and over and over and over. So this was the only one of the original 10 mono stages that gave me hassle. I got a load of people to set loads of different coolers and even some LR cells. It was quite a few attempts deep where I managed to get my furthest, and that was with an LR cell friend. So that was what I decided to stick to. I had a couple of people, even the homie Goresh himself had set a 90% cell for me. But it took me a very long time to finalize the team build that would actually work, because I have honestly tried probably every extreme physical unit that is currently available on Global that I actually have. So that's why you see people like the physical Evil Boo, who I rainbowed specifically for this. Today, when I recorded this, I spent the day at work farming up the extra copies of King Cold and his medals, because you have to awaken each of the copies to then open up the paths in the hidden potential system. And then I'd messed up his hidden potential system. I think I'd opened one path already, and given him most of the additionals for his attack lowering. I think I used him on my original extreme physical team back in the day, obviously using items. And so I'd given him a load of additional for his attack lower. So I even farmed up an extra copy to reset one of his additional panels to dodge, to give him as much dodge chance as possible. So I finally settled on this team. Obviously, I'm using Rainbow Cooler as the leader, and then I think this time it's only a 69% cell friend. But the key to this run is just the sheer amount of attack lowering units that we have brought. So obviously we have the Omega Shenron, who passively lowers the enemy's attack, not by the biggest amount, and his own defense is quite bad. Then we have the Evil Boo, who lowers attack for everyone on the rotation, as well as having a built-in chance to dodge. He also seals with his super attack, so he is just very useful in general. He comes in obviously very handy. Then King Cold, he lowers attack just by being on the rotation, and lowers attack with his super. I also, like I said, gave him pretty much as much dodge as I could and some additional. And then we have the physical GT Cell, who seals and is a support unit as well. So rotations like this are basically what I was going for with this run. So we have 2 units on the rotation that are passively lowering attack. So you'll see here, in that previous turn, Cell was taking anywhere between sort of 20 and 30k from normal attacks. And now, with the double attack lower, we are taking 1,000. But then, of course, Gohan super attacks. But even that only does 62. So obviously, I've had a lot of experience with this stage over the last few days. With no attack lowering units on the rotation, that would have probably done about 120, maybe even 130. And now he's taking double digits from Goku. So the key was definitely the attack lowering. So I have been banging my head against this wall that is extreme physical for the last few days. I already knew of 3 people who had managed to do this stage on Global with no items, which was Goresh, the boy Miri, and one of my friends Andy from one of the Dokkan groups that I'm in. But the key thing is all 3 of them have the 40% physical Super Boo, who obviously buffs everyone on the rotation, attack and defense 40%, which is a pretty sizable buff. Will allow them to tank better and also hit harder, and therefore finish off the enemies faster. But he also heals 15% when he super attacks, which is more than Cell. So of course, if you get some additional in him and you get some clutch additional supers, there's a huge amount of your health that you can heal back. And I was getting to the point where I was wondering if it would be possible to do it without him. And obviously in the end this is the strategy I had to go with, and just lower attack as much as possible, because without being able to heal you can't go through the entire run of all 4 battles taking 20 to 30k per attack when you only have like 370,000 HP, because as soon as 1 or 2 of the enemies super attack you in 1 turn, you are just basically done for. So this is basically the plan, exactly how we needed it to work. 2 attack lowerers on the rotation. Cooler, I panicked for a second when we didn't finish off Goku, but he came in clutch with that extra additional normal with the crit just to finish him off so we don't have to take any more damage this turn. And then the GT cell heals, I think, is it 5 or 7% at the start of the turn, so just him appearing on the rotation is good for gaining some health back. He is probably the unit on the team that gets hit the hardest, even though he is Rainbow. So sometimes we get into some awkward situations, I would say, because here, for example, I would rather not put him in front of 2 attacks from Gohan, but I want to keep Omega on the rotation because of his attack lowering, and then because of the links that they share from basically both being Cell. If the support cell is next to LR Cell, it puts LR Cell to 18 key, and obviously we never want to be getting Cell's 18 key super, even if there's only 1 enemy left. We want to be getting those free heals as much as possible. So Omega coming in here, dealing a huge hit to Gohan to finish him off. And we are now halfway through, and we still have around almost 290,000 HP. So I've been in this situation before though. Many a run has gone awry when you get to like the 3rd fight and say, for example, they both super attack you in the first turn, because that could potentially be up to like 200 odd thousand damage, which is most of our health at this point. So I'm kind of struggling over what to do here, because I want to keep King Cold on rotation because of his attack lowering, but I also don't really want to put him in front of 2 attacks, because we know that his chance to dodge is not insanely high. I think he has 12 dodge, so he only has a 12% chance to dodge. Whereas with his attack lowering on rotation, it is much better to put Cooler in front of those attacks. And because I have my supports and my attack lowering units kind of floating around, I know that at worst we're only going to have 1 rotation where we don't have someone lowering the attack. So, but yeah, King Cold, that attack lower, huge difference. Plus we have big bad bosses active with Cooler if we put Cooler in the middle, which is another huge benefit, because as you can see we took less than 10k from normal attacks. And LR Cell heals 10% of your health when he supers. So these are the kind of numbers that I'm trying to keep in mind when I've been playing through this stage over and over again and seeing all of these different attacks. Is we heal about 37,000 HP from each of LR Cell's super attacks. So as long as we get hit for less than that before he then gets off his super attack, then we've made progress in the turn. So, but that dodge from King Cold there was huge, because that probably would have been, I would say, maybe 30, maybe 40 even K damage on a bad day. So that dodge coming in clutch. So basically the plan, as it were, is to go for constantly lowering the attack with King Cold with those supers, or sealing with the Cell and the Boo on one of the opponents, and then just trying to nuke down the other one. So the strategy here is to try and get rid of Trunks as quickly as possible, and then keep Vegeta either sealed or keep hitting him with King Cold for that attack down. So we are on about half health at this point, so it's not the worst. And again, we've got Omega and the Evil Boo, so this is one of the rotations that the team was basically designed for, because we have double attack lowering. So while super attacks are still very bad for us, we can still mitigate some of that damage. And I was just trying to I had to make sure that those lined up, but 5 orbs with Cell as the friend lead, he does give 4 key instead of 3, because he only gives 100% instead of 120 to the stats. I did try it out with Cooler Friends for that extra 120, but just that lack of the extra healing is very noticeable. Like obviously by keeping an LR Cell on every single rotation, we are able to heal every single turn. And then yeah, Omega easily takes out Trunks, and then puts a little bit of extra damage on Vegeta. And that dodge, I mean, every single dodge is just value that we need. 15,000 from those hits that he took. So not having to take an extra 15,000 is very nice indeed. So, and now we move into the next turn. So we don't have any attack lowerers, but Cell is obviously a support unit, the GT one on the far end. And we have lowered Vegeta's attack a little bit, which I think at the time of recording I'm hesitating because I sort of forgot that, and I was a bit worried because with no attack reducers on rotation, those first slot attacks were on average hitting LR Cell for about 30k, I think. But obviously I'm forgetting the fact that we have hit him with at least one attack lower. So yeah, 13 is much better because those 3 hits, basically all of that is healed up now thanks to this super. So while we don't necessarily gain ground by doing that, we keep ourselves even, which is obviously much better than nothing. So Cooler, I think, does he finish him off here? He doesn't. So that's 17k. A little bit annoying that we had to take that. In fact, if I remember rightly, does Cell not finish him off? Yeah, this actually works out perfectly for us because Cell does not finish Vegeta here, but then we get LR Cell on the double attack lowerer rotation, and Vegeta is sealed, so he can't deal really any damage to us in this first slot. And so because we get to fire off another 12 key super attack with Cell, that means we get to heal up another like 37k HP, and this Vegeta is probably going to do like a couple of thousand at most, maybe even double digits, because the attack lowering from King Cold is actually very good. Yeah, 9 damage. So going into by getting this extra turn, 9 damage is nothing, so we just gained an extra 37,000 HP, so that is huge. Like at first when he didn't die, I was kind of, well, I was very worried because a lot of these runs have ended in someone being alive with the tiniest sliver of health, and then they're attacking me like 3 times at the start of the turn, and they of course super attack me. So I went through many units trying to build this team. I think I rainbowed the physical Metal Cooler, the free-to-play one, because he heals on super attack. But unfortunately, he gets most of his attack and defense boost from the number of Wicked Bloodline characters that are on the team, and I just didn't have enough. He was getting hit for about 50k, and then he heals based on damage that he does. So if he crit, he was healing for around 50k, which is obviously better than Cell, but then as soon as he got hit once, it was completely negating the effect. I tried the GT Freezer, who can stun, and his stun chance just did not go off enough. So here I'm very much agonizing over this decision because there's 4 attacks in the front slot, and I know Cooler will tank them slightly better, but I'm very concerned that I could trigger the Dokkan mode this turn, and obviously I don't really want to get it with Cell because his 12 key super is not the most powerful. And obviously when it comes to the Dokkan mode, we want to deal as much damage as possible so we can get that heal. So in the end, I finally decide to just go for it, pull the trigger, and go in with Cooler. And now I'm trying to work out how to pick up the most orbs. I'm trying to figure out if I can get those orange ones above to drop down. And unfortunately, it did not quite go the way that I expected. So we do manage to get a super attack for the Evil Boo, but as you can see, we did not make the Dokkan mode. So now I am absolutely sweating at this point, but we didn't get super attacked in the first slot, which makes a very nice change for this final stage. So Cooler gonna get off some attacks here, deal some decent damage to Goten, and then I think we managed to, actually I think we get away for this whole rotation without getting super attacked, because we don't quite take out Goten, but Gohan's attacks were all behind this Evil Boo, so I targeted him for the ceiling, so now there's no way he can surprise us at the end of the turn with a super attack. And unfortunately, Evil Boo not getting the dodges, so again the RNG just making me panic right down to the wire. And then unfortunately this is not really the rotation that I want for a Dokkan attack, because I would rather give it to Omega Shenron, because he probably hits the hardest on a single hit, outside of Cell's obviously 18 key super. But I'm still, in my mind, I'm still like trying to prioritize getting his 18 key, his 12 key to heal. But then I decide, no, I think that Cell can do it here. and so I go in for the 18 key Dokkan attack. And fortunately, with the big bad bosses, Omega Shenron's attack lowering, and the cell, we have enough defense to only take a few thousand damage. The emulator goes super quick and stitches me up because of using the mouse, and so at this point my heart is pounding in my chest, because I am now very concerned that missing those nodes could mean that we don't do enough damage on the Dokkan mode to finish him off. Now, Omega in the next slot probably would finish off anyone who survived, but fortunately Cell Beast mode doesn't need a crit, and then yeah, 2.8 million damage, and we finally take down this beast. And funnily enough, after getting home from work, this was I think only my second attempt, but honestly, I haven't been keeping exact count, but I know roughly how many attempts I've been doing per day. I have probably tried this stage about 200 times, and now it is finally done. All 10 of the OG stages are completed with no items used. The time wasn't great because when I found the Cell friend, I grabbed him and started the event because I didn't want him to disappear, because obviously, you know, people can change their friends and then it comes up with this error and takes you back to the menu. So I loaded into the event and then went off and got like a cup of tea and stuff. But obviously I'm not concerned about the clear time, it's just the fact that we did it. So there you go, boys and girls, that is it. We have staked our true claim for the Super Battle Road King crown. All 10 OG stages completed with no items used. So I do have a playlist up with all the videos in. I've done a couple of the categories already, so we'll be getting on to doing some more of those. But honestly, this one is like the crowning achievement for me. I genuinely believed that I wasn't going to be able to do it without that Super Boo, and it took some pretty weird team building, as you saw in the video, but I managed to get it done, and I am incredibly proud. I must admit, I did shout out very loudly when I actually got that Dokkan mode off, and then the KO came up at the end. Such a relief. So there we go. So there you go. Truth, back to you. I think he's uploaded a couple more of the category videos than me. I know he hasn't uploaded Extreme Physical yet, but I'm pretty sure he did it because JP has the monstrous Goku Black Easy A that we don't have. So I feel like whatever you say, whether you're rooting for me, whether you're rooting for Truth, whichever one of us you think is in the lead, I'm very proud to have achieved this with only the units that are available on Global. So there you go. All hail the king. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.